It's the DLS Cowboys podcast. And this one might be a fight. This one might be
fight.
This one
I
might,
like he said fight.
This one might be a fight.
This might be a fight.
It's a fight. So I was listening. I don't know if you guys know this. I was listening to the Dallas Cowboys pre-game or pre-draft press conference today.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I was listening. I was tuned in for the most part till I got in the car and it got confused and it only wanted to play my audiobook. And I'm like, no, bitch, I'm not trying to play book 3 of Throne of Glass. I'm trying to continue listening to this. So I missed about 90 seconds of it trying to work that up. But I did have some takeaways, and I know for a fact that Clarence totally disagrees with one of them, which makes it my favorite takeaway from the press conference. So my takeaway from the press conference was I don't think we can write off offensive line in the first round.
I don't think we can write it off.
And I kind of had it written off until today. I just didn't think there was they'd signed a bunch of guys. They're going to pretend that they like all their guys and all this and that. But hearing Jerry Jones talk about running backs and offensive line and how good the offensive line was when DeMarco Murray was here and how good that line was in front of Zeke and how we won a Super Bowl with Larry Allen there as a rookie. And
just interject, and this is what kills me about Jerry. Larry Allen did not start that Super Bowl. We think he did. He was a rookie. He was
best not to worry about that.
He did not start. He didn't play in that game.
He's 82.
He was on the team.
He's 82.
But Larry Allen wouldn't know that 95 team, and that's what kills me about
He's 82.
the offensive line. Is like they really didn't win a Super Bowl with Larry Allen being Larry Allen.
He's 82.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're making the case that
He's
you
on the
don't
team.
want a good offensive line anymore.
No, I want good players. I'm making the case that you need great running backs like in the 90s. You need a great offensive line. You need a great quarterback. You need a great receiver. I want them to do what the Eagles are doing.
Yes.
I want them to do what the Eagles are doing.
I want the best
I don't
team.
want them to say, I don't want that running back because offensive line. Like, I want you to improve the running back and improve the offensive line.
Okay, we're going to circle around to that. I just want to say, shout out to somebody who gives us money to take shots at one of us. Pop asked softballs at the presser, but we got $1.99 out of it, so thank you, Clarence. Great job. You crushed it.
You didn't ask.
I asked one question. That was not a softball. It was pertinent
You asked 3
to
questions.
I asked the first one about. That's 2 questions.
You asked 3. You had 3. You had 1 question and 2 follow-ups. 3.
Some of that was just housekeeping.
I know, but there was 3.
So anyway.
Am I wrong?
No, because I asked Will about the board.
No, you're not wrong,
No,
dude.
wrong. You asked
You're
Will about
just
I just forgot about the Will about the board.
I'm just an
because he
a-hole,
talked
I know.
about because we hadn't set the board yet, which is
I
crazy. And I just wanted, because we all talk about the quality of the draft, how many first rounders, and I know there's like 15.
He
and not
said
32.
usually we have 15 to 18.
Right,
He
that's
never
right.
gave
No,
an exact
and then I
number.
think that was a purposeful
Yeah.
start. by the
Because
way.
my answer in this draft is probably 4.
I was going to say, I think they have less than 10 for sure.
Yeah. Which is why they're going to want to get out of that pick.
And they're going to.
So anyway, in some ways, because it's football, all of this is circular. Because when
Right.
I talk about what I heard from Jerry and my interpretation was a combination of things that Jerry Jones said and Brian Schottenheimer said, was Jerry Jones talking about the amount of success that DeMarco Murray had behind really good lines and Zeke had behind really good lines. Like, he was making it a point to not say that those runners had that success, but that when they had those guys in front of them, they had great success.
Yeah.
And that last year, they didn't think the problem with the running game was the running backs so much as it was the offensive line. And then he did say, we're not afraid to use, like, he said it.
He reaffirmed that.
And so that kind of kicked me back into, okay, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of people aren't going to like this. I would probably like an offensive line pick at 12. If you promise me that Ohio State left tackle Josh Simmons' knee is on track, going to be ready for training camp, going to be the same player he was, he's absolutely worth the 12th pick. I think Kelvin Banks is absolutely worth the 12th pick at the University of Texas. Some people don't. That's cool. I'll be right. They'll be wrong. It's not a big deal. So I think that the players could be there where they could be the best player on your board.
Yeah.
And some of the responses that I'll get is the hardest part about football, which is that all of these arguments are just going to be done in a circle.
Yeah.
Because what I got from a lot of people was, can he run the ball? And it's like, well, I mean, I guess in theory, if you want to hand it to him, but can he catch the ball? It's like, well, can the guy who you get to catch the ball block for the quarterback?
Yeah.
And can the guy that you get to run the ball block for himself? It's like, we're just going to do a circle of debating. They need all these things.
Yeah, they got a lot of needs.
Right. They need all
Breaking
of these.
news.
They need all of these things.
Kevin Sherrington.
I want to be the Eagles too. I want to have a roster where the worst thing I have is my quarterback, and he's pretty good.
Yeah,
Like that,
for sure.
Sure, I'll take that team too. But anyway, you do not or did not interpret it the same way?
I did not interpret the same way because I just think that we read what we want to read into it. And I heard him, and he's never going to say no because can you rule out offensive line? No, I'm not going to rule out offensive line. He's not. Yes, we could take an offensive line.
Why are you taking shots at the question?
No, I'm not.
Why
I'm
are you
not.
taking shots at who asked that
Why are
question?
you taking
I
shots?
swear I'm not.
Who are you taking shots
Let
at?
me come home.
Yeah.
It's just like when Todd Archer asked Shotty, hey, Shotty, how important is speed and how much will that impact your decision to draft? Shotty says, very important. So I say Matthew Golden because that's what I hear.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So several people asked about taking a
But
quarterback.
Shotty said it's
I'm just saying.
it's a factor, but it's not.
He says he said it was a huge factor. He didn't just say factor. He
caveated it a little bit.
He definitely
This is a
caveated.
good- yeah.
He said speed is an advantage, but it's not the only thing we look at. At least
obviously.
according to my transcripting while I was
Yes,
watching.
of course it's not the only thing. It's like we look at traits and then we look at production. Yes, they're gonna do platitudes, is my point. And just like when he was specifically asked about the quarterbacks and Shador, Jane asked about Shador and Dart, and he didn't win. He went on, we have a quarterback. We're paying him $60 million. But yeah, he got hurt, so we have to be prepared. And then we drafted Steve Young, and we had Troy Aikman.
Steve
and so
Walsh.
that worked out for us. We drafted 2 top quarterbacks. They're not taking a freaking quarterback.
Whoa, there's number 2.
Freaking.
Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah. We're
They're
moving
not
along.
taking a
They're not taking
quarterback
Yeah.
in the first round.
I feel like a
Yeah.
weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I just
They're
want to get
not.
that.
Anthony
not.
has a great point. Jeff, would you want to bring Zeke back? Using offensive line success as the only metric to have a good offense doesn't fully translate. No, not fully. There is a limit to how bad a player can be and still play in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I wondered when Jerry said that, is how much of that was that he absolutely believes every word he's saying, and how much of that was knowing that Clarence has been whipping his ass about
Right.
Derrick Henry forever,
And
and Jerry covering himself and saying,
Right.
look, the running back wasn't going to fix this.
Right.
That was the line.
Right.
And knowing that he was the guy who was responsible for bringing in the running back
And
who
not
was not
talking-
an NFL player
And Rico
that was getting
Dowdle.
half the carries.
Yeah.
Like how much of that was Jerry covering his own mistakes,
Well, yeah.
and how much was this is what I believe?
And they are very aware of what's been said and what's been done. And just like Steven said, yeah, we're much more active this year than we were last year. Duh. You weren't active at all last year, but he had to say it. And so when you heard that Jerry said, yes, we were 7-10, a running back wouldn't have made a difference. But he also said, I was impacted by what Saquon Barkley did for the Eagles, and a running back could have helped. But he said that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and that's all I've been saying. I don't
Don't worry,
think
Joe.
that
We read
I
inflections
don't think
the
that
same.
Henry
You and I.
would have made them a Super Bowl team.
last year, no.
No. Henry would have been better and would have helped their running game. They scored 2 freaking rushing touchdowns.
No, if you
all
had one of
year.
the best running backs in football as one of your 2 running backs,
That's all I'm saying.
instead of one of the worst running backs in football, yes, it would have been helpful.
And it
no
was
doubt.
and money was not an issue. Okay? He wanted to come here. He would have taken less money to come here. You didn't even try. And that's what's so troubling. Just like the Luka trade.
Yeah.
You trade Luka. That's bad enough. But you canvassed one team. You don't get the best deal for him. That's doubling down on failure. You don't even try to get Henry. You don't even make a call. That's mind-boggling to me.
It is crazy.
It is crazy.
But also, I mean, I think when it comes to the offensive line discussion, there's a reason why I asked that question, right? Because I think that there is a possibility that they have offensive linemen on their board ranked highly, right? And I think if you're going to take an offensive lineman, that means we are going to essentially either ignore or diminish the early investments we've already made. Because you drafted Tyler Guyton, right, last year.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you've admitted that you've gone over your skis a little bit trying to think that he'd be a day one starter. If you take an offensive lineman, specifically an offensive tackle, yeah, you might have a guy that could move into guard as insurance. But if you're taking an offensive tackle, you are essentially giving up on the combination of Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele in the immediate future. And that is a huge storyline. And I think
I'm cool with that.
by the answer that Jerry gave, to be honest with you, there was some affirmations, I think, and maybe this is me reading into it, that I think they're open to it. I think that
I think
they're okay with that.
Honestly, I think that would be progress, because one of the things that I heard, and it's our buddy Alec who watches the show all the time, I think, that said to me on Twitter, where it's just like, you've already invested so much in this offensive line, and my response to that is, I don't care.
Yeah,
like I want to look at my roster and say, where do we need help? Who's the best player who can help us? Put that player there now.
Yeah,
like that's what I want to do. Like, I don't care. Like, but we've already. Can he play? No? Can that guy? Cool. Put him in. And yeah, I'm not kicking him off my team. He can show up to camp. If he's the better left tackle, great. If he's not, let's see if you can play somewhere else. Like, my job is not to give you 4 years to play and hurt me and figure out because I picked you once. Like, I don't care. I don't care where their money's invested, where their picks are invested. I care when it's time to pick with your first pick in the draft. Who's the best dude sitting there? Pick him. That's what I care about.
Can you go up real quick, just a little bit?
About the guy who said pop got hot?
No. Go up, Daniel. Go up. Go up.
No, Vaughn, I will not.
No, go up a little more, please. I'm sorry.
What are you looking for?
Okay.
Somebody
below.
got him going sensitive.
The media never pushes back. No, below heavens.
I like the TC just picking random ones.
Now, the media never pushes back on the Jones answers. Number one, how a press conference goes, we have to raise our hand and ask one question. Sometimes we can get a follow-up.
And the goal is to get a good answer, not fight the guy up there.
The goal, thank you. Our job is to get an answer. Our job is not to argue with them. We get an answer, and then we write, editorialize, and talk about what they say. You're not going to get a press conference going back. Jerry, you're lying. I mean, he lied. How many times? He lied today
At
about
least 6 times.
Dak Prescott got hurt.
Yeah.
4 games after we signed him a contract. He played 8 games. You're not supposed to say, you're wrong, Jerry. You're going to shut the whole press conference down. We went for 40 minutes. Okay? Our job is to ask questions, get answers for the fans. And our job is not to fight with them after every time they say something. I know it's cool. I know it's what y'all want to hear, but that's not how it works in journalism.
It would actually just be doing a really bad job, because that would literally be performative for people to go, yay!
Yes.
Like, it's not to interview someone. It's literally just to get people to go, you tell them.
Because we also need to know what they're thinking. We need to know their
right.
insight.
We're trying to get their thinking and the thought processes behind, which, listen, I love the Luka stuff, and everybody got that pound of flesh with Nico, but did we get any real answers?
Well, there's also ways to push back.
You know what I'm saying? So
there are ways to push back.
Yeah.
You rant on here.
Right.
Yeah. But
Jerry's going to hear it.
Also, I mean, but like, if they don't answer your question, you can follow up with like, answer this question. Though.
Right.
You're skedaddling. That's the difference between like pushing back and saying like,
on the radio, I used to try to ask Jerry stuff, and then I just realized there was no point.
Right.
Because he would come on with an agenda, and you could be like, hey, that guy you signed is really bad at football. And he'd be like, boy, and I want to tell you about our left guard.
Right.
Like, he has the things he's going to say.
Right.
He doesn't care what you ask.
also, Clemente, our job is to get information for you guys. So, yes, when I draft talking about will you rule out an offensive line, and he says no, that's now information that we have. And trust me, everyone in the NFL knows what, or has some insight into what other people might do.
Oh, yeah, like the idea that everybody...
That I'm tipping you off the NFL. Sorry, Cowboys fans.
No, if you're ever going to get mad at the media, it should be only at Clarence.
And pay $199.
For getting Dak hurt.
Yes.
For making him run.